Chapter 1. Into the Abyssal Glow. Beneath the rolling surface of the world's oceans, where sunlight dances and fades into distant blue, lies a passage few have ever truly imagined. It is not marked by walls or gates, but by the slow surrender of light itself. The deeper one descends, the softer the world becomes, until color bleeds away and vision yields to shadow. The ocean does not welcome quickly. It takes layer by layer the warmth of the sun, the brightness of the sky, and replaces them with stillness. A stillness so complete that time seems to drift slower than thought. And yet, in this darkness, a secret waits. The ocean's quiet heartbeat, a glow that lives where no star can shine. As we descend, the hum of the surface fades. The light narrows to a dim haze above, and all around an infinite silence opens. At 200 meters, the last remnants of daylight stretch thin and pale as whispers. At 300, they vanish completely, and here begins the realm of the abyssal glow. Imagine a world where every shimmer, every sparkle, is born from life itself. Tiny organisms drift by like celestial dust, each radiating a delicate pulse of light. They are plankton, microscopic beings that float on invisible currents, each carrying the power to glow. When disturbed, they burst into radiance, like starlight scattered by unseen hands. In their presence, darkness is never truly dark. The sea itself seems to breathe with them, waves of living light rolling through unseen waters. This is no ordinary ocean. This is a living cosmos, a vast and ancient universe beneath our own. As you drift deeper, the sense of scale begins to dissolve. There is no up or down, no east or west, only movement, slow, patient, endless. The water grows colder, pressure builds like a silent weight, and every sound becomes a memory of its echo. Here at these depths, life must obey new rules. There are no forests of coral, no schools of glittering fish. Instead, creatures have adapted to a realm where sight is useless and sound travels farther than thought. They listen through vibrations, feel through currents, and see through light they create themselves. In this place, light becomes language, a flicker, a greeting, a flash, a warning, a steady glow, a promise. Every organism speaks in illumination, sending messages into the void. Never certain who might be listening, you begin to notice it. The faint blue hue that surrounds you, the soft radiance blooming and fading like breath. It comes from the jellyfish, ancient drifters with translucent bodies, their bells pulsing with a ghostly rhythm. Each beat releases a ripple of light, a wave of beauty that lingers in the cold water. They are the dancers of the deep, choreographed by currents. Their glow, the poetry of survival. Further still, the world grows stranger. Creatures with impossible shapes glide past, ribbons of light weaving through the dark. Their bodies are thin as silk, their movement dreamlike. They carry light within them, a secret stored in every cell. Some blink in patterns, some shimmer with steady calm, and some ignite suddenly, a silent explosion that vanishes just as quickly. Every pulse tells a story. Each flash is a fragment of the ocean's language, a language older than time, written not in words but in waves of light. The deeper you go, the more you begin to understand. This is not emptiness, it is abundance, an abundance of silence, of presence, of patient life evolving in ways we can scarcely comprehend. A lanternfish passes, its body lined with rows of glowing dots. They flicker softly, like candles burning in reverse, illumination turned inward. With every movement, it writes its trail in the dark, a constellation of motion. Each mark of light is both shield and invitation, a balance between hiding and revealing. In this vast black expanse, every organism must decide to glow or to remain unseen, to risk being found or to fade quietly into the deep. You drift with them through the quiet bloom of life that never meets the sun. Somewhere in the distance, a large shadow moves, A silent leviathan whose shape you cannot discern. Only a faint trail of glowing plankton betrays its presence. A reminder that even giants here move like whispers. Time loses its rhythm. Minutes, hours, they dissolve. The ocean does not keep time, it keeps stories. Each one written in bioluminescent ink, glowing briefly, then fading into memory. Imagine if every living light here were visible from space. The ocean floor would sparkle like the night sky. Galaxies of plankton, constellations of jellyfish, comets of glowing shrimp. It would be impossible to tell where heaven ends and ocean begins. In this twilight, the boundaries blur. What we call darkness is not absence, but a canvas, one painted with living stars. Every pulse, every glow is the heartbeat of Earth itself. You might wonder, why light? Why would evolution choose radiance in a place that never sees the sun? Perhaps because light is life's oldest memory. Even here, in eternal night, organisms remember what it meant to shine, and so they recreate it, not for warmth, but for meaning. Light becomes identity. Light becomes existence. The deeper you descend, the stranger the shapes become. Long threads of creatures stretch for meters, delicate filaments trembling with light. They hang suspended like strands of starlight, each pulse an echo of hidden harmony. It is said that some of these beings can extend longer than a blue whale, their bodies divided into hundreds of tiny organisms, each glowing in rhythm with the others. One body, many souls, one light shared through countless lives. Such is the way of the deep, unity through illumination. The ocean here is not silent. It hums in frequencies beyond human hearing. The movement of currents, the crackle of shifting rocks, the soft thrum of creatures communicating in vibrations. All of it, together, forms an invisible symphony, and when bioluminescent creatures flash in the dark, it is as though the symphony gains color, a visual echo of its own sound. The deeper you travel, the more this rhythm envelops you. You are no longer a visitor, you are part of it, a drifting awareness surrounded by infinite blue-black calm. There is no fear here, only wonder, only awe, only the quiet realization that even in places where light should not exist, life has found a way to glow. Eventually, you reach a point where even bioluminescence seems to grow faint. Creatures are rarer here, their glows intermittent, fragile. Yet in this sparse light, each flash becomes more meaningful. A single spark now illuminates eternity, and as you watch the faint blue shimmer of a jellyfish fade, you feel something, a recognition, a sense that the light within these beings is not unlike the light within ourselves, both born from energy, both ephemeral, both striving to be seen in the vast darkness of existence. In that moment, the ocean ceases to be distant. It becomes a mirror, its light, our light, its silence, our silence. Drift in there, suspended in the abyss, you come to understand that the deep sea is not simply a realm of mystery, but of reflection. Every glow beneath the surface is a quiet affirmation of life's resilience. Every flicker is proof that beauty endures, even in the absence of sun or certainty. And so the first chapter closes not with discovery, but with reverence. For the ocean's darkness is not the end of light. It is where light begins anew. From within, from life, from the eternal will to shine. Chapter 2. The chemistry of living light. In the quiet after descent, when the darkness has become familiar, you begin to notice that the glow of the deep is not chaos, it is orchestration. Every shimmer, every flash is not random but purposeful. Some call it the language of survival, others call it beauty. But beneath it all lies something deeper, the chemistry of light itself. For in the still waters of the abyss, light is born not from flame, but from reaction, a molecular dance older than mountains, more elegant than words. This is bioluminescence, a miracle written in chemistry. Imagine it, the moment light is born within a living cell. No spark, no fire, only a quiet joining. A molecule called luciferin meeting its catalyst, luciferase. Two particles colliding in the deep, and in that instant, energy is released, a photon escapes, and darkness receives its glow. And that is all light truly is, a whisper of energy, a fleeting release, and yet here, that whisper becomes survival. A single pulse of luminescence can decide whether a creature lives or vanishes. From bacteria that glow in the gills of fish, to plankton lighting up waves on the surface, every luminous being carries within it a variation of this ancient reaction. It is a universal language spoken in molecules, understood by no mind, but felt by all who drift through the deep. Some organisms produce luciferin on their own, others borrow it, feeding on glowing prey, absorbing the power to shine. In some species, tiny symbiotic bacteria live within special organs, their chemical light traded for the safety of a host. The partnership is perfect. One provides protection, the other illumination. Within the body of a flashlight fish, you can see it clearly, two small pouches beneath each eye, each filled with bioluminescent bacteria. The fish can cover or uncover them at will, using muscles to blink on and off, flashing signals into the blackness, like a silent conversation. But not all light is shared. Some keep it hidden deep within their tissues, a soft, internal radiance, barely visible from without. This hidden glow is not for show, it is for control. By matching the faint light of the ocean above, some creatures disguise their silhouettes, erasing themselves from the eyes below. A trick of evolution so subtle, it is almost poetic. A body blending seamlessly with the void. It is called counter-illumination, and it is among the most elegant adaptations on Earth. The hatchetfish, the lanternfish, and many others have mastered it. Their bellies are lined with photophores, tiny organs that emit soft light downward, mirroring the dim glow that filters faintly from the surface. Predators below see nothing but continuity, a seamless sky of water. The hunter's gaze meets illusion. The prey survives another night. And so in these depths, light is more than light. It is mimicry. It is communication. It is camouflage. It is life's most flexible invention, an art of adaptation refined through millions of years. Scientists once believed bioluminescence was rare, a curiosity of the ocean's extremes. But now we know the truth. It is everywhere. From the waves that sparkle at night to the miles of ocean beneath, the sea is lit by countless living lights. More than 80% of deep-sea species use bioluminescence in some form. In the deep, darkness is the exception, light the rule. Still, we do not fully understand it. Each species glows differently, blue, green, sometimes red. Some pulse in rhythm, others burst and fade like thought itself. Each chemical pathway is its own signature, its own formula for survival. Take the firefly squid, for example, a creature that rises from the deep in great gatherings, its body covered with precise constellations of light. Each photophore flickers in sync, a living pattern written across its skin. For the squid, this glow is not only beauty, it is conversation, recognition, invitation. Or the ostracods, tiny crustaceans that release clouds of light when disturbed. The water blooms with ghostly blue as they drift away unseen. The glow lingers for moments, then dissolves like memory. A defense written in luminosity. A story that lasts seconds, but saves lives. Every flash, every flicker is governed by chemistry. Luciferin provides the spark, luciferase the trigger, and oxygen the breath. Yet, even knowing the formula, the wonder remains untouched. For though we can describe the mechanism, we cannot capture the beauty, the quiet miracle of life choosing to shine. To witness bioluminescence in person is to feel something primordial stir. Imagine drifting in absolute blackness, and then a flicker, another, A chain of blue lights curves across the dark, weaving through the void like a ribbon of liquid starlight. You are not alone. The sea is alive around you, breathing, speaking, shining. The deeper you watch, the more you realize this light is not decoration. It is structure. It holds the ecosystem together. Predators hunt by it. Prey escape with it. Lovers find each other through it. The entire rhythm of the deep beats in pulses of illumination. For some, it is a weapon, used to blind, distract, or deceive. For others, it is a beacon, calling to a mate across the infinite dark. And for many, it is both. A paradox of creation and destruction, bound together in every glow. This, then, is the essence of the chemistry of living light. Not the reaction itself, but what it represents. That even in the most hostile corners of our planet, life refuses to fade. It finds a way not just to exist, but to express, to glow, to be seen. The chemistry of living light. There is a certain reverence in realizing that light itself is alive, not borrowed, not reflected, but born. It hums within the tissues of the smallest plankton and radiates through the veins of creatures that have never once seen the sun. And the deep light is not an accident. It is inheritance, passed from generation to generation, shaped by need, refined by survival. Each glow carries the echo of ancient seas, the first sparks of evolution, igniting in darkness eons ago. Long before the first fish swam, before plants reached for sunlight, there was already light in the dark. Microbes glowing in the primeval ocean, tiny flickers of chemical reaction, marking the beginning of biological radiance. They glowed for reasons lost to time, perhaps to confuse, perhaps to attract, perhaps simply because they could. But in those first faint sparks, life began to speak its most enduring language, light as identity. To the human eye, bioluminescence feels otherworldly, a secret borrowed from stars. Yet it is not alien. It is the same universal principle that fuels all forms of energy. Chemical bonds release their strength, and the release becomes light. But here, in the sea, life has learned to wield that power at will. A deep-sea shrimp glows red, its body invisible in the blue spectrum of the abyss. A defense evolved through color, for in these depths, red is black, and black is safety. When threatened, it flares bright crimson, startling its predator before vanishing into the void. Nearby, colonies of plankton drift in silent clouds. Each movement triggers a wave of blue luminescence. When a large creature moves through, it trails light like a comet. The ocean itself becomes a diary of motion, recording every shift and ripple. In a glowing script that fades as quickly as it is written, imagine floating through it, the water alive with faint radiance, every gesture leaving a glowing trace. Your hand moves, and light blooms around it, curling and swirling like smoke. You're painting with the ocean's breath. It is art born of biology, ephemeral and eternal all at once. The deeper you drift, the more you realize the ocean's glow is not random. It is choreographed, a performance carried out by trillions of unseen performers, each one playing a single note in a vast living orchestra. At times the sea flares in waves, great sheets of light moving across unseen plains. Some scientists believe this synchronized glow is a form of mass communication, an ocean-wide signal rippling through the food chain. Others say it is coincidence, the side effect of countless lives reacting together. But perhaps it is both. Perhaps the deep sea, in its quiet way, breathes as one. For light, here is breath. Each pulse of luminescence is like inhalation, energy taken in, transformed, and released again into the endless dark. The creatures that create it are chemists of the impossible. They work with the raw elements of life, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, and through complex cycles of energy, they produce light that neither burns nor fades. Cold light, pure light, perfect efficiency. a phenomenon human technology still strives to replicate. Consider the firefly. Its glow too is bioluminescence, a reminder that the ocean's miracles reach beyond its waters, spilling into the land and air. Yet, while the firefly glows to court and call, its oceanic cousins glow to live, to endure. The deeper the darkness, the more ingenious the chemistry becomes. At 1,000 meters where no hint of the surface remains, the language of light grows intricate. Some creatures can alter the intensity of their glow, dim it when hiding, flare it when hunting. Others use specialized lenses to focus their radiance into beams, biological spotlights piercing the abyss. There are even those that modulate their light into patterns, flashing encoded rhythms that only their own kind can decipher. It is not sound, it is not color, it is the deep's own Morse code, a poetry of pulses. In the darkness, the simplest flicker carries immense power. A single spark can summon a mate, startle a hunter, or illuminate a meal. Every flash is a decision, an act of will in the great silent black. But light, as always, demands balance. For every creature that glows, there are others that have learned to see it. Eyes in the deep are miracles in themselves, vast, unblinking, sensitive enough to catch a single photon. Some fish have upward-facing eyes, designed to catch silhouettes against the faint shimmer above. Others possess mirrored retinas, amplifying even the weakest glint of light. Predators watch, and prey respond. In this eternal exchange, light becomes both savior and betrayer. And so the ocean evolves its quiet arms race. Some fish learn to emit flashes that mimic the glow of harmless prey. Others feign the strobe of distant species, drawing curiosity to their doom. Still others synchronize with their neighbors, creating the illusion of size or number, turning many small lights into one great apparition. It is a theater of deception directed by chemistry, performed in silence. Every organism is both actor and audience, both luminous and watchful. And above them all, the dark presses close, vast, unyielding, infinite. It is easy to forget in these depths how fragile this light truly is. A change in temperature, a shift in oxygen, a subtle disturbance in salinity, any of these can extinguish the reaction. The glow ceases, the ocean swallows it whole, and what was once brilliant is gone without trace. And yet, it always returns, because in the deep, light is not a luxury. It is instinct. It is memory written into cells, recalled whenever survival demands its glow. When we watch these flickers from submersibles, we are witnessing memory itself, the memory of life's oldest spark, 1 billion years condensed into a single pulse of blue. Even now, scientists study this chemistry, trying to harness its secrets. They isolate luciferin from jellyfish, clone luciferase in the lab, and create artificial glow in cells. For research and medicine, this living chemistry has illuminated the path to understanding disease, tracking infection, and revealing the unseen workings of life. And yet, the ocean still keeps her secrets. For every luciferin we know, there are dozens more undiscovered, locked in creatures no human has yet encountered. Every expedition brings back new formulas, new molecules, new ways that nature has learned to shine. But none have captured the perfection of the original, the balance between creation and calm, between reaction and silence. The sea remains the master of this art, its chemists the creatures of the deep. It is humbling to think that all our human lights, our cities that burn through the night, our stars of glass and fire, are nothing compared to the purity of this. A single, cold, living glow in the heart of the ocean outlasts us all. The deeper you descend, the more the water folds into itself. Light fades, sound stretches, and pressure becomes an endless weight. Yet within this crushing dark, life not only endures, it invents. The glow of the deep becomes weapon, whisper, and wonder all at once. Here, evolution has traded the roar of sound for the language of glimmer. Each creature has its dialect, each pulse a phrase, each hue a declaration. To understand them is to hear the unspoken poetry of survival. The anglerfish drifts through this realm like a living paradox, a shadow crowned by a single light. Its lantern sways, a tiny glowing orb at the end of a fleshy filament. It is beauty masking hunger. That orb, so delicate and bright, is a lure of death. Within its radiance, smaller fish see promise. Perhaps the light of a schoolmate, perhaps a signal of safety. They approach, curious, drawn by instinct, and then, in the space between heartbeats, the anglerfish strikes. Its jaws expand, teeth folding outward like polished needles, and the dark swallows its prey whole. This light is not its own. Within the lure, live colonies of symbiotic bacteria, fed and sheltered by their host. In return, they gift it light, steady, soft, and deadly. Together, they form an alliance older than language itself. It is the ocean's oldest pact. I give you safety, you give me radiance. Around them, other predators have mastered similar traits. Some squid flicker their tentacles in quick-coated bursts, a mimicry of plankton blooms. They disguise their approach, blending into the faint horizon above. When the moment is right, they flash once, twice, and vanish into the ink they release, leaving confusion and blindness in their wake. Further below, a jellyfish the size of a dinner plate drifts through eternity, its body transparent, its edges outlined in a lace of glowing threads. It pulses rhythmically, each movement a silent breath of light. Predators approach it with hesitation, for its beauty conceals defense. Touch the tendrils, and the glow turns violent, a shock of brightness that blinds and disorients. The jelly withdraws, its glow fading again into a gentle heartbeat. Every flash, every shimmer is both a cry and a concealment. The ocean's creatures are painters of deception. Their medium, light itself. Some, like the cookie-cutter shark, use light not to frighten but to vanish. Its underside glows faintly blue, matching the filtered shimmer above. Seen from below, it disappears, a perfect mimicry of the faint light that seeps down from the surface. It is invisibility made from illumination, a paradox turned survival. But the deep sea is never one note. There are artists among the assassins, creatures that paint the dark not with fear, but with beauty. Consider the crowned jellyfish, whose tentacles glow in waves of shifting color. Each pulse ripples outward, a cascade of blues, greens, and violets that swirl like a living aurora. It does not flee, it performs. Perhaps the show is warning, perhaps it is courtship, perhaps it is simply expression. Whatever its purpose, it feels deliberate, a gesture of existence against the infinite void. And there are others like the dragonfish, whose power lies in what only it can see. Its light is red, a wavelength that dies quickly in seawater. To most eyes of the deep, it is invisible, but the dragonfish sees it perfectly. It illuminates prey without revealing itself, a spotlight only it can sense. A stealth light, a private spectrum. Evolution, in its quiet genius, has granted the dragonfish an advantage born from invisibility. The ocean thrives on paradoxes like these: light that conceals, darkness that reveals, silence that speaks, life that glows to live. And still deeper, where even bioluminescent waves grow sparse, a faint pulse glimmers, slow, patient, ancient. It belongs to the giant siphonophore, a creature so strange it is both many and one, a colony of individual organisms, each specialized, some for feeding, some for movement, some for light. Together they form a single being, a living constellation drifting through black eternity. Their lights blink in slow rhythm, each pulse echoing down the long thread of their shared body. To see it from a submersible is to witness the night sky moving underwater. The siphonophore's glow is a message written in time, a slow cascade of energy that keeps its vast body aware of itself. Every flash is a reminder, you are not alone. You're part of the whole. Even light here becomes unity. And then there are the hunters who do not emit light at all, but steal it. Certain jellyfish and fish absorb bioluminescent organisms, carrying them within their own bodies, wearing light like borrowed armor. They cannot create it, but they can possess it. Their glow fades over time, yet for a while, they too become stars in motion. It is survival through imitation, life pretending to be luminous until it must fade again. In this theater of survival, every glow has a reason, every flicker a price. Light costs energy, and in the deep, energy is everything. To glow is to risk, to attract, to reveal, to spend. But to not glow is often to vanish into hunger or oblivion. So each creature must decide, moment by moment, whether to shine or stay still, whether to reveal its form or remain unseen. Each flesh, then, is a choice between life and death. And that is the strange holiness of bioluminescence, that even in the most merciless corners of creation, life still chooses beauty. Because what is beauty, if not light made visible? And what is survival, if not beauty's most determined act? Down here, beauty is not indulgence, it is function. It is necessity. It is the spark that keeps the dark from swallowing all that breathes. The sea holds its breath for a moment, and then somewhere far below, a new light flickers into being. A creature no one has yet named, no one has yet seen, flares for a heartbeat, then fades. Its glow travels outward, a single photon drifting upward into infinity, a whisper to the stars above the waves. We are here, still alive, still shining. The deeper you listen, the more the ocean begins to sound like breathing, a vast, slow rhythm. The tides inhale, the planets exhale, and within that rhythm, the lights of the deep move in harmony, each pulse syncing with an invisible beat. It is easy to forget that this is chemistry, that every shimmer is a reaction, that every radiance is born of molecules, because when you watch it long enough, it feels alive in a different way, as if the ocean itself were dreaming, and these are its thoughts made visible. Bioluminescence is energy made intimate, where the sun's light is distant and universal. This light is personal, secret, internal, deliberate. It begins in the body, in the meeting of luciferin and luciferase, in the subtle alignment of atoms. But what emerges is emotion. The chemistry becomes choreography. Molecules become messages, and light becomes language. There is something humbling in that, to realize that the same principle that fuels the stars also burns gently in the belly of a tiny creature drifting in the dark. The difference is only scale. A star's fire consumes, a creature's glow communicates. Both declare the same truth, that energy longs to be seen. Across the deep plains of the ocean, the lights form rivers, streams, and constellations of movement. Plankton bloom in rolling curtains of blue, tiny cells igniting one after another, like dominoes of light. When a whale passes through, its massive shape carves galaxies in motion. It disappears into brightness, a silhouette of myth surrounded by a halo of living stars. When it is gone, the glow lingers, soft, trembling, a memory of passage. Scientists call these stimulated emissions, a phrase too mechanical for the wonder it describes. What it truly is touch made visible. Every movement, every vibration, every fin or tail or current writes its trail in living ink. The ocean becomes a book that glows, only for those who can see its pages in darkness. And yet, for all its beauty, this light is fragile. Its existence depends on balance, temperature, chemistry, pressure, purity. Too much disturbance, and the glow fades. Plastic clouds the waters. Toxic metals poison the bacteria that once burned so brilliantly. A few degrees of warming, and the reaction slows. The magic dims. Light, after all, is only as strong as the life that makes it. But for now, the ocean still breathes in color, still hums with chemical miracles. Each photophore, each cell of luciferin, is a reminder of how adaptable life can be. It teaches us that illumination does not require the sun, that warmth can exist in the coldest dark, that even isolation can bloom into beauty. Look long enough, and the parallels begin to appear. We too are creatures of reaction. Electric currents fire in our nerves. Chemical messengers bridge the gaps between thought and feeling. When we laugh, when we love, when we hope, something lights up within us. It is not visible, but it is there. Perhaps that too is a kind of bioluminescence, the unseen glow of consciousness. In that way, the ocean mirrors us. Its light is external, ours internal, but both are proof that life, in all its forms, cannot resist expressing itself. It must shine, in whatever way it can. Imagine floating there, weightless, watching the slow ballet of light unfold. No surface, no horizon, only the soft pulse of existence, revealing itself molecule by molecule. You realize that you are witnessing not just survival, but connection. Each glow answers another. Each spark triggers a chain reaction, until the whole abyss seems to breathe together. This is ecology in its purest form, energy exchanged as light, communication as chemistry, life forming an endless loop of illumination, predator and prey, microbe and leviathan, linked by photons instead of flesh. For billions of years, this cycle has continued unseen. Every flash of light in the deep is a continuation of that ancient rhythm. The same energy that ignited in the first living cell, passed from generation to generation, adapted, transformed, but never extinguished. It is continuity made visible, and perhaps that's why the sight of bioluminescence touches something deep within us, because on some level, our bodies remember it. Our blood carries the same iron that once rusted in ancient oceans. Our cells trace their ancestry to the very microbes that first learned to glow. We are the descendants of light. We carry the memory of the deep inside our DNA. To see the ocean shine is to see our own origins reflected back. Soft, patient, alive. It whispers, "You came from here. You still belong here." The chemistry of living light, then, is not merely a reaction. It is the heartbeat of continuity, a code written in photons, bridging the gulf between the first spark of life and the consciousness now watching from above. Somewhere far below, a single plankton drifts upward. It glows once, briefly, as if waving. Then the darkness closes in again. But for that instant, the abyss remembers, and the world, for a breath, feels luminous again. The ocean at depth is never still. Even in silence it moves, slow, deliberate, eternal. The water folds upon itself like thought, currents weaving unseen threads that bind together the glowing lives within. If you could drift here long enough, you would see that every light, every flicker, is not solitary. They answer one another, call and response, pulse and echo, until the abyss resembles a field of stars, whose constellations are constantly being redrawn. You begin to realize this is not chaos. It is communication. Every shimmer is intention, every beam a signal, a pattern of existence older than speech. In the shallows, life uses sound. In the air, color. But here, in the blackest heart of the sea, light has become the voice of creation itself. The simplest creature speaks in photons. The tiniest bacterium glows with purpose. Their language is not of words or emotion, but of energy, the only currency that endures when all else fades. And through that energy, the deep reveals a truth, that the line between science and spirit is thinner than we imagine. For in this realm, chemistry and miracle are the same thing, described in different tongues. When luciferin meets luciferase, when oxygen flows through the reaction, what begins as chemistry becomes ceremony, a sacred act disguised as biology, life lighting its own path through the dark. Think of how remarkable that is, that the act of glowing is not an accident, not randomness and motion, but a finely tuned ritual, that has persisted through epochs of time. For billions of years, these tiny luminescent lives have carried on the oldest practice of the planet to turn energy into expression, to make light, to be seen, and in a way, this is what all life strives for. To be seen, to be felt, to matter against the vastness of the void. Humans chase sunlight, plants drink it, the sea creates its own. Every form of life, from coral reef to neuron, is drawn toward illumination, because in the end, light is not only survival, it is memory. The photons released by a deep-sea organism travel outward forever. They may fade to invisibility, but they never truly vanish. Their energy disperses, absorbed, transformed, reused, perhaps into the next wave, perhaps into the next heartbeat, into another glow far away. Energy does not die, it only changes form. And so the light of the deep, the tiny glimmers you see in this endless black, are fragments of eternity, remnants of life, recycled endlessly through creation. In that realization, there is peace, because it means that nothing is ever truly lost, not even the faintest glimmer. From the smallest creature in the most forgotten trench, every photon ever released still travels, still moves, still speaks its quiet message across the great dark ocean of time. So the chemistry of living light is more than a mechanism. It is a map of connection, a diagram of life's refusal to end. To glow is to participate in the oldest story there is, the transformation of matter into meaning, the taking of darkness and teaching it to shine. Somewhere in a submersible's beam, a diver watches the lights of the deep unfold. For a moment, the instruments fall silent, and all that remains is the soft pulse of living light surrounding the glass. No words are spoken, no notes are written, because to witness this, to truly see it, is to understand without explanation. You cannot study the deep without feeling reverence. You cannot name these lights without realizing they carry names older than ours. They are not inventions, they are inheritances, the living remnants of the first spark that ever dared to glow. Perhaps that is why the ocean guards them so fiercely, because they are its heartbeats, its breath, its memory. And as we drift upward now, leaving the glowing abyss behind, we carry with us that knowledge that the chemistry of living light is not bound to science alone, but to something far more human, the need to illuminate. The ocean fades to black again, the lights dissolve into the vast, endless dark, but the feeling remains, a quiet awareness that somewhere, far below, the deep still glows, patient and eternal, waiting for the next traveler to arrive. And remember what it means to find beauty in the unseen. Chapter 3, Masters of Luminous Deception, Part 1. The deep sea is a realm of shadows, a place where light is scarce and every movement counts. Here, survival is an art form, and in this art, light is the tool, the weapon, the signal, and sometimes the illusion itself. Somewhere below the faint shimmer of the twilight zone, the anglerfish drifts. Its grotesque body belies the elegance of its design. A long filament extends from its head, tipped with a tiny lantern, a glow that seems fragile, almost tender. Yet that glow is deadly, a trap perfected over millions of years. The anglerfish does not chase. It waits. It lures. The faint light pulses gently in the blackness, dancing like a heartbeat, drawing curiosity toward the unknown. Prey see the glow as life, as warmth, as opportunity. And when they approach, the anglerfish strikes with terrifying precision, its jaws opening like a trapdoor into shadow. In this we see the first law of luminous deception. Light can conceal as much as it reveals. The anglerfish does not reveal its form. It hides in darkness and uses the very thing it offers, illumination, as a weapon. Nearby, the vampire squid moves differently. It does not hunt with lures. It does not need to. Its bioluminescence is theater, a performance to protect, to confuse, To survive, when threatened, it ejects clouds of glowing mucus, a brilliant shifting veil that illuminates the water for a brief instant, then vanishes, leaving predators disoriented and blind. The vampire squid's tentacles undeal it, each lined with tiny photophores, flickering in sync like stars in a constellation. It is not just defense. It is communication, warning, and illusion all at once. Every pulse is calculated, every flash a silent signal. I am here, but I cannot be taken. And then there are the siphonophores. Stranger still, these are not single organisms but colonies. Hundreds, sometimes thousands of individuals, linked together in a single body. Some specialize in movement, some in feeding, some in light, and together they form living ribbons of phosphorescence that drift like neon serpents through the abyss. The siphonophore's light is not accidental. It is a strategy, a ballet of illumination designed to attract, ensnare, and feed. Tentacles lined with glowing tips trail behind, snaring plankton and small fish in their soft radiance. The organism does not need speed. Its light moves for it, drawing food into its grasp without haste. Even in smaller creatures, deception is an art. Certain shrimp flash sudden bursts of light, startling predators, buying moments to escape. Other shrimp carry glowing bacteria within their bodies, wearing borrowed light as disguise or signaling to mates. And in every case, the interplay of glow and shadow determines survival. Predators in turn have adapted to this dance. Some fish can see the faintest flashes of bioluminescence, their eyes tuned to detect photons invisible to others. Others have mirrored retinas, amplifying light in the dark, turning even the softest glow into a spotlight. In this ongoing battle, light is a weapon and a shield, a message and a ruse, a signal and a lie. Take the dragonfish, for instance. Its own bioluminescence glows red, invisible to nearly all other creatures. It can illuminate prey without revealing itself, an invisible predator moving in plain sight. The chemistry that produces this glow is extraordinary, a private wavelength that grants stealth and advantage. The deep sea is full of these private signals, secret channels of light used for hunting, mating, and hiding. Even the tiniest organisms play this game. Plankton, microscopic and fragile, release clouds of bioluminescence when disturbed. The water blooms with ephemeral light, and in that instant, predators may hesitate, confused by the sudden spectacle. A moment of distraction is all it takes to survive another day. Bioluminescence is not limited to defense or predation. It is also ritual and romance. Certain squid flash rhythmic patterns to attract mates. Lanternfish synchronize their flashes, creating waves of light that ripple through the water, turning the abyss into a ballroom of ephemeral stars. In these fleeting dances, every blink matters. A misstep could mean invisibility to a potential partner, and invisibility can mean extinction. Some species use mimicry in astonishing ways. The hatchetfish, for instance, aligns its glowing belly with the faint light above, erasing its silhouette from the gaze of hunters below. Others create flashes that mimic the glow of harmless prey, tricking predators or competitors. Some even imitate the light of distant species, a perfect disguise crafted by evolution itself. It is a realm where intelligence need not be conscious to be brilliant. No mind coordinates the orchestra, yet every flicker, every pulse, every flash moves in harmony with survival, a choreography written over millions of years. And as you watch these masters of luminous deception, you begin to notice something subtle. Their lights are not random. They pulse, they flicker, they flash in patterns. There is rhythm in the abyss, a flow that guides motion, a cadence that organizes life in darkness. It is a quiet music of photons, unheard but deeply felt. Imagine a predator moving through this world. It approaches and the water responds. Plankton burst, shrimp flare, tentacles shimmer. The predator hesitates, calculating, sensing, reading the glowing signs. A blink, a flicker, and the hunt may succeed or fail. The smallest flash can tip the balance. In these depths, light is not decoration, it is life itself. And yet, for all the cunning and calculation, there is beauty. Not just survival, but artistry. The anglerfish's lure sways like a pendulum of stars. The vampire squid's ink blooms in radiant clouds. The siphonophores colonies drift like neon serpents. Even in the most brutal corner of existence, bioluminescence is elegance incarnate. It is deception, yes, but it is also poetry. Every flicker carries meaning. Every glow tells a story. And though it may be a story of hunger, of defense, of evasion, it is also a story of endurance, creativity, and sheer will to shine. In the deep, light is never simple. It is layered, multifaceted, a tool wielded with precision. The creatures of the abyss have mastered it, and in doing so, they remind us that intelligence can exist in forms we cannot always recognize. Even instinct, when honed over eons, becomes artistry. And so the masters of luminous deception continue their dance, from the anglerfish's deadly lure, to the vampire squid's dazzling veils, to the synchronized choreography of lanternfish. The ocean thrives on illusion and illumination. Every spark is strategic. Every blink is measured. Every glow is an act of survival, and quietly of wonder. Masters of luminous deception. As you drift deeper into the abyss, the patterns of light become more complex. Some flashes are rapid and erratic, designed to startle, confuse, and escape. Others pulse slowly, deliberately, drawing prey or signaling to distant companions. Every pattern has meaning. Every flicker a story written in photons. The lanternfish, for instance, travels in great schools. Individually, each fish glows faintly, but together they create waves of light that ripple across the water like living currents. These flashes are not just communication, they are collective strategy. Predators approaching from below are met not with a single target, but with a moving, flickering constellation. Too vast and too dazzling to single out one fish. It is a ballet of safety, a harmony of survival in motion. Meanwhile, the cookie-cutter shark takes a different approach. It glows faintly along its underside, blending with the faint blue light from above. To creatures below, it appears to be nothing more than a shadow of water. And then suddenly it strikes, its bite precise, leaving circular wounds on much larger animals. It does not chase, it deceives. Its light is invisibility made real. In these depths, the distinction between predator and prey is defined by mastery of illumination. Those who can deceive with light thrive. Those who cannot are quickly forgotten. Even more fascinating are the creatures that manipulate light to imitate others. Some shrimp emit flashes that mimic the movement of small swarms, drawing predators away from their true positions. Certain jellyfish mimic the strobe patterns of other species, either to lure food or to avoid danger. In every case, bioluminescence is both mask and mirror, a reflection of the deep's infinite cunning. There is artistry in this deception, but it is inseparable from necessity. The anglerfish's lure is beautiful. The vampire squid's ink cloud is mesmerizing. The siphonophore's colony is hypnotic. Yet every light is a decision, a calculation in the currency of survival. Every flash matters. Every glow carries consequence. It is easy to see these displays and feel wonder. And yet even wonder is part of the design. For the deep sea teaches us that beauty is not separate from strategy, that survival can be elegant, and that deception can itself be art. Imagine a diver drifting silently, watching a school of lanternfish ripple in synchronized light. The water becomes a tapestry of living stars, each pulse a brushstroke, each flash a note in a silent symphony. And yet, just below, the dragonfish waits, its red light invisible to all but its own eyes. A predator moves unseen, its every approach guided by chemistry, by instinct, by the subtle language of photons. And the dance continues, eternal and unbroken. Even the smallest organisms play this game. Bioluminescent plankton respond instantly to disturbance, creating clouds of light that ripple outward. Predators hesitate, confused by the sudden brilliance, and prey escape, their survival written in ephemeral illumination. The tiniest flicker can determine life or death, and yet in this perpetual theater of shadow and glow, there is more than strategy. There is a quiet poetry, a luminous choreography that has evolved over eons. Every glow, every pulse, every deceptive flash is part of the same rhythm, the heartbeat of the abyss. The deep sea is a place of extremes. Pressure can crush, temperature can freeze, darkness can consume, but light persists. It flows, it pulses, it deceives, transforming danger into art, predation into spectacle, survival into poetry. And so the masters of luminous deception continue. They move unseen, they flash without sound, they manipulate, hypnotize, and mesmerize. They teach us that in darkness, creativity becomes survival, and survival becomes artistry. Every flash is a reminder. Life does not simply endure. It adapts. It invents. It glows. And when we watch from above, we are not mere spectators. We are witnesses to a world where chemistry meets consciousness, where instinct becomes performance, and where even the most primal act, the search for food, the need to survive, becomes a luminous testament to ingenuity. The abyss may be dark, but it is alive with light. It is alive with deception, with strategy, with the brilliance of life itself. From the smallest glowing plankton to the cunning dragonfish, from the anglerfish's deadly lure to the siphonophore's hypnotic ballet, every pulse of bioluminescence tells a story of cunning, a story of adaptation, a story of life thriving against impossible odds. A story that has been unfolding for millions of years and will continue long after we are gone. And as we leave this realm, drifting upward toward lighter waters, we carry with us the memory of the deep. The memory of light used not only to survive, but to deceive, to communicate, and to mesmerize. A reminder that in the darkest corners of the earth, life finds a way to shine, brilliant, cunning, and beautiful. Beyond what words can describe, beyond what imagination can capture. The deep sea remains a masterclass in the art of luminous deception. And for those who witness it, even from a distance, its lessons linger. That darkness is not absence, that light is not only illumination, and that survival itself can be poetry. Here in the abyss, life glows to live. In every glow, every flicker, every calculated flash, is a testament to the ingenuity of evolution. It is a reminder that even in the blackest depths, creativity thrives, strategy prevails, and light endures. Chapter 4, Ecosystems of Enigma, Part 1. The ocean is vast, an expanse so immense it swallows all sense of scale. And within this boundless dark lies a realm of quiet marvels. Ecosystems shaped by light, woven with survival, and illuminated by the faint pulses of living beings. Above, the sun paints the world in clarity and color. Below, darkness reigns. Yet in the absence of sunlight, life has learned to craft its own illumination, and with it, an entire universe thrives unseen. This is the mesopelagic zone, the twilight zone of the sea, a place where shadows reign, and bioluminescence is currency, language, and life itself. Here, creatures migrate by the billions, ascending toward the surface at night, descending again by day. It is a vertical migration unlike anything on land, a river of life moving with astonishing rhythm. Lanternfish rise, their bodies flickering with soft blue light, trailing thousands of tiny plankton in their wake. Squid drift upward, their pulses like faint stars suspended in the water. And above them, predators wait, eyes tuned to detect the faintest glimmer, ready to take advantage of every luminous signal. In this zone, light is communication, and communication is survival. Every flash of bioluminescence can indicate location, threat, or mating intent. Some species synchronize their flashes, creating waves of light across the water column. Others produce random flickers, mimicking distant species, tricking observers into misreading the scene. It is an ecosystem built entirely on light and shadow, a fragile balance where energy and chemistry dictate the dance of life. Even the tiniest organisms contribute. Bioluminescent plankton create curtains of shimmering haze, both feeding the species above and confusing the species below. They are the unseen architects of motion and survival, their collective glow shaping the behavior of creatures far larger than themselves. And deeper still, where sunlight never reaches, the world becomes stranger. Hydrothermal vents, chimney-like structures that spew mineral-rich water, heated by the Earth's molten interior, host communities unlike any found elsewhere. Here, bacteria glow, not for seduction, not for hunting, but for chemistry. They harness the chemicals in the vent water, producing energy, light, and sustenance for those around them. These glowing bacteria form the foundation of entire ecosystems. Tube worms anchor themselves to the vent, their red plumes rising like flowers in the dark. They do not photosynthesize. They rely on the bacteria within their bodies, bacteria that convert chemical energy into food, light into life. Crabs, shrimp, and other creatures congregate here, all drawn to the subtle luminescence, all dependent on this fragile web of survival. Even in the blackest corners, light is a signal, a guide, a source of hope. The ocean has adapted, creating ecosystems that are invisible to the untrained eye, yet intricately connected. Every organism has a role, every flash has a purpose, and the balance is delicate. Studying these ecosystems is no small task. Submersibles and remotely operated vehicles descend for hours, equipped with cameras and sensors that can capture faint photons of light. Yet the mere presence of humans can disrupt the delicate patterns. Too much light from instrumentation, and the creatures hide or flee. Too close an approach, and the currents and chemicals are disturbed. Observation itself is an act of compromise. Still, explorers press on. They seek to understand the ways in which light drives behavior, how glowing communities form, and how these organisms survive in conditions humans can barely imagine. Through these efforts, we begin to see a tapestry of life, woven not by sight or sound, but by flicker, pulse, and phosphorescence. And what emerges is astonishing. These ecosystems are more than survival strategies. They are theaters of evolution, laboratories of adaptation, and in their quiet majesty, proof of life's ability to innovate against unimaginable odds. Some species use light cooperatively, creating coordinated patterns that confuse predators. Others use light competitively, stealing or masking flashes to gain advantage. And all of them participate in a silent network, where the smallest glimmer can ripple outward, affecting countless lives across the dark expanse. Even hydrothermal vents, despite their extreme heat and chemical extremes, become oases of luminescence. Here, communities thrive in isolation, completely independent of sunlight. Life finds a way, and often it finds brilliance. Every pulse of light in these ecosystems is an indication of existence, a reminder that even in places humans may never fully touch, life persists, adapts, and communicates. It is the hidden heartbeat of the ocean, an endless dialogue written in photons. And yet, these ecosystems are fragile. Plastic pollution drifts even to these remote depths. Microplastics infiltrating food chains. Deep-sea mining threatens hydrothermal vents, disrupting the chemical balance that fuels luminescent life. The very brilliance that has persisted for millions of years can be extinguished in moments if human activity is unchecked. Preserving these ecosystems is about more than science. It is about safeguard and wonder itself. Every organism that glows, every colony that pulses, is a testament to the ingenuity of evolution, To watch them is to witness life at its most extraordinary, adapted to extremes, yet cooperative, cunning, and breathtakingly beautiful. And so we leave the twilight zone, moving past the streams of lanternfish, past the drifting colonies of siphonophores, past the glowing vents where life defies darkness. The memory of light lingers. It is subtle, almost imperceptible, yet impossible to forget. Every pulse, every flicker, every shimmer carries with it the story of life in the ocean's most enigmatic corners. Even from above, the knowledge remains. Light is life, and life is resilience. The ecosystems of the deep are fragile, brilliant, and deserving of wonder. They remind us that even in the darkest, most remote places on Earth, life thrives, innovates, and illuminates. Deeper still, beyond the vertical migrations of the twilight zone, the ocean gives way to the blackest abysses, where sunlight never reaches, and where hydrothermal vents and cold seeps become islands of life. Here, the glow of bioluminescence is both guide and sustenance. Chemosynthetic bacteria form the foundation of these remote communities, harnessing energy not from the sun, but from the earth itself. They oxidize minerals and chemicals expelled by the vents, turning poisonous plumes into life-giving nourishment. Tube worms rise like towers, their bodies anchored to the vent floor, plumes waving gently in the thermal currents. Inside, symbiotic bacteria convert chemicals into sustenance. They glow faintly, a light born of necessity, a living lantern that nourishes the ecosystem around it. Shrimp, crabs, and small fish move through these glowing oases, their behavior guided by the faintest flickers. The shrimp are not only consumers, they are signalers. Their flashes warn others, attract mates, or startle predators. The crabs navigate the dark using the glow of others, moving in synchronized steps across the uneven vent terrain. It is a world of light-driven interaction, a hidden dance choreographed entirely by survival. Cold seeps are no less extraordinary. Here, methane and hydrogen sulfide escape from the seabed, feeding unique communities that glow in muted, ghostly hues. Clams, mussels, and tube worms flourish, their symbiotic bacteria producing faint luminescence that illuminates the ocean floor in the absence of sun. Predators lurk, drawn to the glow. Yet each movement is part of an intricate balance that has evolved over millions of years. The ocean's most extreme ecosystems are fragile and finite. Deep-sea mining threatens to destroy hydrothermal vents before they can be fully explored. Plastic, chemicals, and human interference reach even these remote depths, disrupting the delicate web of life. Yet the deep persists. Its glowing communities continue, adapting to each challenge with resilience. The lights of the abyss are reminders, not just of life's creativity, but of its vulnerability. Observation is both a privilege and a responsibility. Scientists descend in submersibles and operate remotely controlled vehicles, capturing glimpses of these enigmatic worlds. Each photon of light they record tells a story of cooperation, adaptation, and ingenuity. But even the act of observing requires care. Too much light, too much disturbance, and the delicate balance of the ecosystem shifts. Here, every action matters. The ocean teaches lessons that extend beyond science. It shows how life adapts to extremes, how organisms cooperate, compete, and communicate through subtle signals. It demonstrates that even in darkness, energy and creativity find expression. And it reminds us that the smallest flicker, the glow of a plankton, the pulse of a tube worm, the shimmer of a shrimp, can sustain entire communities. These ecosystems are also a bridge between worlds. Above, the sun dominates. Life is visible, obvious, and bright. Below, the deep relies on living light, an entirely different physics of interaction. Yet the principles are the same. Energy flows, life adapts, and communication thrives. The ocean, in its quiet darkness, mirrors life itself. And within this mirror, there is poetry. Every flash of light is a heartbeat, Every glow is a signal, a whisper of survival. Every flicker is proof that life, even in the most extreme conditions, is never passive. It invents. It cooperates. It illuminates. The beauty of these ecosystems lies not only in the creatures themselves, but in the patterns they form. Schools of glowing fish move as one, shimmering ribbons that ripple across the dark water. Colonies of siphonophores drift in synchronized pulses, their lights guiding the movements of predators and prey alike. Even the tiniest bioluminescent organisms participate, creating curtains, clouds, and ripples of light that echo across the abyss. The ocean's enigmatic ecosystems remind us of the interconnectedness of all life. Every pulse, every flicker, every shimmer is a thread in a vast tapestry. Disturb one and the ripple travels. Observe one and a story unfolds. And the deeper we go, the more we realize the abyss is not empty. It is alive. It is a network of light, energy, and resilience, a testament to life's ability to thrive against the odds. Hydrothermal vents and cold seeps are more than survival zones. They are laboratories of evolution, showing how life can adapt to the harshest environments. Creatures glow, colonies synchronize, and energy flows through bacteria, tube worms, shrimp, and crabs, turning chemicals and darkness into life itself. And yet, this brilliance is not eternal. Human activity encroaches, its consequences often invisible until too late. Deep sea mining, plastic pollution, climate change, each threatens the fragile equilibrium that has existed for millennia. To protect these luminous worlds is to protect a form of life that has persisted far longer than our species, a world whose survival depends on careful stewardship and reverence. As we leave the depths of these glowing ecosystems, we carry with us their lessons, that light is not always bright, that survival can be subtle, that life adapts in forms we can barely imagine. And we remember that the ocean's darkness is not absence. It is a canvas, painted in pulses of living light, where chemistry, energy, and life converge in extraordinary harmony. Even in the blackest depths there is brilliance. Even in isolation there is community. Even in silence there is communication. And as we ascend, leaving the glowing vents, the drifting siphonophores, and the migrating lanternfish behind, we carry with us the memory of the deep, a memory of life expressed through light, a testament to resilience, and a reminder of the fragile beauty of our planet's most enigmatic ecosystems. The ocean glows in secret. It pulses in quiet brilliance. It whispers in photons, and if we listen, we hear the heartbeat of Earth itself, ancient, persistent, and luminous. Chapter 5, Protecting Our Luminous Legacy, Part 1. The deep ocean has thrived in darkness for millions of years. Its glowing creatures have perfected their art, each flash and pulse a testament to survival, each shimmer a triumph of evolution. Yet even this hidden world, so remote and alien to human eyes, is not untouched by us. Plastic drifts to the deepest trenches, microfibers threading through the lives of plankton, shrimp, and fish. Metals and chemicals seep into waters thought pristine, disrupting the delicate chemistry that creates light itself. Deep sea mining threatens hydrothermal vents, churning the sea floor and smothering colonies that have persisted for eons. Even subtle changes in temperature or pressure can dim the glow of the abyss, altering lifetimes of adaptation in an instant. The fragility of these luminous ecosystems is startling. For all their resilience, they exist in a narrow balance of chemistry, light, and life. A single disruption can cascade, changing the behavior of predators, prey, and even microscopic bacteria. Yet within this vulnerability lies a lesson. To witness beauty is also to bear responsibility. Scientists descend in submersibles, exploring trenches and vents with instruments designed to measure, record, and preserve. Every photon captured tells a story of survival, Every pulse recorded is a message from a world few will ever see. But these explorations are not just about discovery, they are about stewardship, the first step in protecting a legacy so luminous, so vital, that its loss would dim not only the ocean, but the imagination of humanity itself. And the potential of bioluminescence reaches beyond the ocean. Researchers study these living lights to understand chemistry and energy, the compounds that produce glow in deep-sea organisms, may one day advance medicine, illuminate technology, or inspire new ways of seeing the world. Even in death, these creatures offer knowledge, their photons carrying secrets waiting to be deciphered. The anglerfish, the siphonophore, the vampire squid, even the smallest glowing plankton, all are teachers. They show how to survive without sunlight, how to communicate silently, how to turn chemistry into art. And they remind us that life is fragile, but also endlessly inventive. To protect these ecosystems is to honor life itself. It is to recognize that even in the darkest corners, existence is profound, intricate, and radiant. It is to realize that extinction is not merely a loss of species, but a dimming of brilliance, a silencing of stories written in light. Imagine a hydrothermal vent at night, its colonies glowing like a hidden city beneath the waves. Tube worms rise, their plumes pulsating softly. Shrimp move in synchronized flashes, tiny organisms illuminating currents of survival. And above it all, a human observer drifts in awe, aware that every movement, every choice can impact this fragile theater. The lesson of the deep is subtle, yet urgent. It whispers, preserve what is unseen, protect what glows quietly in darkness, and recognize that even the most remote corners of Earth are connected to our choices above. Bioluminescence is more than beauty. It is communication, survival, and memory. Every flicker carries information, every glow sustains life, and in its chemistry lies wisdom, proof that life can innovate, adapt, and endure, even in the harshest conditions. As we contemplate this legacy, it becomes clear that our role is not passive. We are witnesses, yes, but also stewards. Humanity has the power to protect these luminous realms, to ensure that the pulses continue, that the rivers of light in the abyss do not fade. Conservation here is not just about stopping harm. It is about understanding, about respecting a language of light that predates us. It is about leaving a world in which future generations and even future species can experience the magic of bioluminescence. Every flash of an anglerfish's lure, every shimmer of a lanternfish school, every glow of a vent's bacterial colony is part of a living legacy. It is a legacy of ingenuity, resilience, and wonder. To preserve it is to honor the intelligence of evolution, the poetry of adaptation, and the fragile, luminous beauty of life on Earth. The ocean's depths are silent to most, yet they pulse with meaning. They glow with secrets, with strategies, with life that has endured for millions of years. And it is up to us to ensure that those secrets are not lost, that the pulses continue to ripple through the abyss, that the story of glowing life remains unbroken. Even small actions matter, protecting water quality, reducing pollution, restricting deep-sea exploitation. Each choice has the power to preserve brilliance, because in the deep, light is life, and life is fragile. The luminous legacy of the ocean is a reminder. Even in darkness, life finds a way to shine. Even in isolation, creativity and cooperation persist. Even in the most extreme environments, existence can flourish, and if we choose to protect it, to respect it, to learn from it, then the glowing world of the deep will endure. Its flashes will continue to ripple across the abyss. Its colonies will pulse in silent rhythm, and its story, the story of life lighting its own path through darkness, will be preserved for all time. The ocean's glow is more than light. It is memory, it is knowledge, it is life itself, and it is our responsibility to ensure it continues to shine. In the end, we are part of this luminous story. Our choices, our respect, our stewardship, determine whether the lights continue to dance in the deep, whether future generations will witness the unseen, and whether the most secret brilliance of Earth remains a testament to life's resilience, its ingenuity, and its beauty.